What if Deku never got one for all? Part 1. So I know I usually do what ifs on Saturday and Sunday, but I wasn't going to do what if Deku was Garo for the whole week. So that would be pretty boring. So to start it off, Deku always admired heroes until he was announced quirkless, basically. His whole story happens like it usually does, with Deku actually being like, he builds things. He builds things, so he's kind of like an engineer thing. So he always thought instead of being a hero, he could be like a support person, because he really liked building stuff. But when the sludge villain eventually came, and he asked All Might, could a quirkless person be a hero? All Might did it way harsher. He yelled at Deku like, are you serious? No, a quirkless person can't be a hero. They'd get themselves killed. Which Deku is like, which says, I can't believe I believed in you, as he just leaves. Which All Might, I'd say, is a little bit more rude in the story. But, so when Deku ran in and saved Bakugo, All Might doesn't praise him. He scolds him like the other heroes. He yells at him. Like, he basically yells at him like, what were you thinking? I told you a quirkless person can't be a hero. You could have gotten yourself killed. So Deku, being filled with an immense hatred towards All Might and the other heroes, he left, walking away, just not caring anymore. Like, he completely lost all of his care for the world. He wanted to see it burn. So Deku ran back to his house and tore down all his All Might merch, everything that he had of All Might. Or, he didn't really do that. He actually ran to a convenience store and bought a lighter. Now, with this lighter, he actually asked his mom if she could go to the store. And he asked his mom if she could go to the store and buy him something, which she said yes and left. So Deku ended up buying something that was fireproof, let's say like a fireproof bag or something, and he put a note inside saying, I hate you, All Might, this is your fault. He put that in his room on his bed, poured gasoline everywhere, including the apartment, and then lit it on fire. And if you guys don't remember, Deku lives in an apartment complex. So when he lights it on fire, everybody inside is a victim to it, as the whole thing starts to burn down. So Deku ends up running outside before lighting the lighter and throwing it inside, as a huge explosion is seen as the apartment complex burns down. Which Deku sees this as his time to leave. So he ends up leaving, running away. And when he's running away, he ends up spotting some guy with hands all over him. He walked up to the hand guy and he's like, do you have a hand fetish or something? Which obviously, if you guys know, would piss off Tomura, as Shigaraki ran at him, trying to kill him, but that's when Deku's quirk awakens. Now this quirk is, let's just say, it's kind of like Ultra Instinct, but not really. It's like he was born a fighter. So Deku catches Shigaraki's fist, and he punches, or he catches like the wrist of he catches Shigaraki's wrist and punches him right into the stomach, knocking like the wind out of him. He puts his hands into a ball and just slams his hands down right onto his head, just slamming him into the ground before stomping on his head. He's like, wow, such a puny human. Can't believe you lost. I'm just a mere corkless kid who just gained his cork. And you lost to me? It's pretty sad. Deku basically grabbed Shigaraki's hair and lifted him up and said, "Where's your leader?" Or, like he said, "Take me to your base. I'm going to become the leader or vice leader of this place if you're one of them." As he recognizes Shigaraki as the leader of the League of Villains, which he knows that there's a bigger leader, and he's like, I'm going to be taking your spot. So when Deku burst through the bar door, you can imagine the shock of Kurogiri and All For One on the monitor to see a unconscious and beaten up Shigaraki with Deku holding him. So they're just like, "Did you do this?" He's like, "Yeah. I just got my cork like 5 minutes ago and I kicked his butt. Like he didn't even stand a chance. It's kind of sad. Well, yeah, I'd also like to take his place if that's possible." All For One, seeing this as a perfect opportunity to drop this man-child as his successor, says, "Of course, but you're going to have to train alongside him." So he basically tells Kurogiri to start training. He tells Kurogiri to start training Shigaraki as soon as possible. And basically, All For One starts training Deku secretly. Shigaraki doesn't know this. Now, basically, Deku was walking, or basically, Shigaraki was telling Kurogiri all about this when they were training, and that's when he asked, "Boy, why are we training?" And he's like, "To get you stronger. Master, or Sensei saw you get beaten by that kid, so he wanted you to train, because you're obviously not good enough to be his successor yet." Which pissed off Shigaraki, but he understood. So, Deku training with All For One learned that his quirk is called martial arts. He knows every single martial arts there ever was. And if you guys want, I can do like the Turtle Hermit martial arts basically, but he can or cannot learn ki, which would be interesting. So Deku ends up being strong. He ends up being pretty strong. All For One never giving him a second quirk, and he's like, "You don't need it, you're already pretty strong." He also taught him how to use knives and katanas, which Deku preferred, like, two katanas, basically. So over with Shigaraki and Kurogiri. Kurogiri was training Shigaraki. Now, Shigaraki's already way stronger than he was with the USJ. I'd say he's probably just as strong as maybe, he's probably just as, there's not really anything to compare him with, but he's way stronger than he was in the original series. And he liked to use, Shigaraki really liked to use an axe. Don't know why, but they ended up finding an axe that wouldn't disintegrate with his quirk, so that's why he liked using them. So one fateful day, All For One tells Deku about how Shigaraki and them have been training, and how the winner of that will become the new double leader of the League of Villains. So Deku ends up walking over to the hideout, as he hasn't been there in a long time, but he memorized the location of it. When he gets there, Shigaraki doesn't really know until Sensei or All for One tells him that he has to fight Deku to see who will become the new leader. And it's a fight to the death, sort of. So Deku ends up taking out both of his katanas, and they're fighting. Deku ends up flipping the axe over his head and into the wall behind him as he cuts off both of Shigaraki's hands, making it so he can't use his quirk. Shigaraki, seeing this, is pissed, but he doesn't know what to do as he falls to his knees as Deku crosses his blades and puts them to Shigaraki's neck. All for One speaks, says, "Good, Deku, good. Kill him now." Deku is with some remorse, says, "I shouldn't." Only for All for One to say, "Do it," and Deku beheads Shigaraki. With a loud thump, the head hits the floor, as Deku is now the new leader of the League of Villains. And if you guys got that reference, good for you. So, Deku has now become the League of Villains, or the leader, and he starts his task of collecting people to become villains in underlings of the League. He finds low-life thugs, and he basically trains a Nomu to become a trainer for these thugs, and whoever disobeys gets punished severely. So, Deku ends up seeing that the UA entrance exam is in a month, telling All for One that he would like to infiltrate it. Now, Deku All for One obviously is hesitant, but says sure. Now, Deku is going to write himself off as he's quirkless, but he's a martial arts master. Now, I'm going to say that All for One actually gave Deku a second quirk, I'd say, which is fighting, or fire. So that's what he uses on all of his villain missions, so nobody suspects a thing. So Deku writes down that he is a martial arts master type quirk. And so he goes to the UA entrance exam. Now, Deku is obviously smarter, you could say, than in the original timeline. Deku dropped all of his, hero thing. He dropped all of his hero wannabe type thing. And now he's no fanboy, but he's just a smart, ruthless leader. Anybody who misbehaved is punished severely, so they don't do it again. So Deku ends up basically easily getting 100% on the UA entrance test, or the practical exam, and then with the villain exam, or the written portion of the exam, and then the practical exam. Deku runs in as soon as President Mike yells, "Go!" He charges at the robots, easily just one-punching their stomach. And on the one-pointers, he can punch right through the stomach. Wow, the three-pointers, he can still do it, but with a little bit more difficulty. Now, when the 0 pointer appears, Deku's like, oh no. As he runs forward and runs up his arm, as he takes back his both hands and he just throws them forward, just making a massive wind with his or air pressure from his hands, and just sends the head flying off. So I hope you guys did enjoy this mini series of what if Deku never got one for all. See ya guys, bye.